fake MMR that I got from like double downing against account farm bots.
I see.
So probably more realistically like 500.
Do you play? Do you play in a party or generally with your friend Leadwolf and the other guy I coached, or is that
Yes.
separate?
I primarily play with them. But exclusively with them or another friend. There's a group of 4 of us, and I exclusively play ranked with at least one of them, if not the group of them.
Gotcha. So you've been playing for about the same amount of time as them, which was like 10 years or so, or no?
Yes. My first match, I think I checked Dota buff, was in 2012, the end of 2012.
Gotcha. So what would be your reason you think for being in the MMR you're in, and what would most help you today?
As far as reason for being in the MMR, just haven't taken the game seriously for most of playing it. We haven't been play for like the vast majority of the like fucking 13 years or whatever that I've been playing has been unranked. Just kind of playing casually, just because we like the game and the game's fun.
Yeah, so it's been more
And
about
so
playing together.
yeah, we just for a long time have all really liked Dota and playing it, so we just do that. And then only recently, like within the last few months, have we actually delved into ranked and like actually kind of trying to be like good at the
Was
game in
that
any
like a group
capacity.
decision, or what happened here?
It was kind of a group decision. One of the main kind of catalysts for switching to ranked is we kept in unranked getting matched with people that were like literally playing their first game ever. And then
Mm,
we were like, okay, let's just play ranked. Then at least we know that they'll at least have like a little bit under the belt.
I see.
Uh, but other reasons too. I know Leadwolf. Me and him duo queue or used to duo queue a lot of ranked Rocket League, and so we kind of like to play semi sort of in a competitive sense and kind of improve and see where we're at in that.
Gotcha.
So
Cool, man. So what is your goal for today's session? Like, I understand you're looking to get a little bit better and stuff. The last guy that came from your group,
mm,
pardon me, I can't remember his name.
Dadareth, I think
Yeah,
it would have been.
Dadarith. Yeah, he was all about Spirit Breaker in the off lane. Is there like
Sure.
a particular hero you're looking to refine today? Is there like a stage of your game you'd like to work on? What would what would you like the most today?
Really, I have a Juggernaut game on deck, and Juggernaut who I've been kind of spamming recently. Him and Ursa.
Okay.
Um, and so I have a Juggernaut game picked out. Just because in the last 7 days I didn't really have an Ursa loss that I felt was. We had an Ursa loss where the other team had a really 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 good Smurf that just totally annihilated us, and
Gotcha.
so I didn't. I was like, I don't really feel like that game is probably too valuable to take a look at. But I had a jug game that we lost that I felt there's probably a lot that I could have done better in like the laning phase. And as far as what I'm looking to get out of it, probably just tips as far as in the laning phase, as far as like how to last hit and secure farm better, and then transitioning from the laning phase to mid game, like what my farm patterns should look like, specifically when a game starts to go badly and it kind of feels like there's not really a safe place to farm.
Sure, man. We'll do as much as we can in the time we got. You want to go ahead and send me that replay ID for
Yeah,
your
so is
Juggernaut game?
that's the match ID. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that is correct.
Okay.
That is what
All
I was
right.
asking for. Okay. Come on. There we go, Dota.
And I have an inkling that the Marcy on the other team may have been a Smurf on this as well, just because low amount of games and was doing some like Helm of the Dominator type shit that I felt like for somebody with like sub 200 wins didn't feel particularly
Hmm.
natural, but might be, I don't know, might be just mad because bad.
Yeah, it's interesting. For me, I'd like to ask the question, what is the reason for worrying about them being Smurfs or not? Like, why does that why is that a question you ask yourself?
I don't know, just because, I mean, ideally, right, at any given rank, you're playing against somebody that is of the same or similar skill level. Uh,
I see.
which I suppose you might argue is kind of the purpose of it, right? Like, we naturally want to just get better and, kind of choose it as a, I'm good at the game badge. But I mean, really, the purpose of ranked, right, is that you're kind of always supposed to be playing against people of your skill level. So
I
that,
see.
for me, is kind of why bugs me. But
Gotcha.
it's neither here nor there. A Smurf is just somebody that's better at the game than me, right? So.
Yeah, I guess for me it's just it's potential noise in my opinion. I think it's
Sure.
nice in theory to have an explanation for why you lost. But like
Sure,
I
yeah.
guess in my head if that explanation doesn't make me better at the game, then I don't value it personally.
Sure.
And it's for me it's kind of like if I say somebody's a Smurf or if I think they might be, what takeaway do I have from that?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I asked, but yeah. Marcy, this is a very scary lane. That's like my initial thought here. Very scary lane, but Venno for some reason leveled wards level 1.
Yeah, I tried to take advantage of it. Kill as many wards as I could as the lane went on.
I got a question. When I watch you moving,
Yeah, yeah.
why are you moving so much?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like, if you watch how much you move, like, what are you dodging?
Nothing.
Interesting. Okay, so I think the first thing I try to teach people, everybody's different in terms of how I teach this to them. For Datarath, I gave him a different example because he's talking about a different hero and a different role, and he's a different player, obviously. Is I try to give everybody questions
Sure.
that I feel like they previously weren't asking themselves. Because for me, to stay in the same rank means that you're never evolving the questions that you're asking yourself, or you're never really answering questions at all. A
Yeah.
lot of people, I'll ask them, why are you doing this? And, the most common answer, the lower MMR you go, the more likely the answer is, I'm not consciously doing that, right? So it may seem really simple, but I think one of your biggest things from this session I would want you to take, because this isn't something you can really answer right now or do anything with. You're welcome to ask me a question, but to be able to explain to me or yourself why you're moving.
Sure.
And to just decide I'm going to move back and forth, because what you're not doing in this time is hitting creeps when you're walking back and forth. So for me, and as carry, if I'm a carry that attacks really fast, I'm going to rewind for a second. One of the benefits of being a carry that attacks really fast is when this guy walks away, I can kill this creep before he comes back.
Sure, yeah.
So, like, right now, I would want you attacking this creep, like, relentlessly right now. Attack this one, then this one. That's going to keep the lane in front of your tower. That's going to potentially deny him creeps that he's not in position for. So, generally speaking, the person that's winning the lane is able to attack more creeps, like, whether it's last hits or denies. That means they just have more control over the lane equilibrium. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah,
So, that's what you're giving up by randomly moving. So
Okay.
I want you to see that if you don't have a reason to move, this is what you would be doing. And so all the times that you are moving, I'm hoping to now point out that there is a cost to you randomly moving back and forth.
Sure.
So that's the goal here. Let me know if you have a question.
Yeah, no. Makes sense to me.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's your biggest issue CSing, honestly. Like, by far your biggest issue.
Okay.
Is just moving too much. And by moving too much, you're not hitting creeps enough. Okay, yeah, we're cleaning out those wards. Thank you, Venomaster. Appreciate it. Okay. Okay, so they're not really playing the lane very well. This Marcy's a smurf. He's not a very good one. Like, with all due respect, I would have killed you like 4 times.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. This applies to any hero that can jungle. So Jug has spin. A lot of carries around level 5 can jungle. Even before. So this applies.
Before farming, yeah. Sure.
Yeah, so this specifically applies past 5 minutes. And the reason why that's a really hard cutoff, and it's not that it doesn't apply at all before 5 minutes, but it's such a hard cutoff because of neutral items. Like, just thinking about items you're buying, think if you get 10 damage and 10 attack speed on your neutral item. Like, how much gold is that? You know what I mean? That's a shit ton of gold. That's like better than a glove of haste. That's better than this. That's like 750 gold, like minimum. You know what I mean? For how much a neutral item gives you. So around 5 minutes into the game, you are either attacking lane creeps and pulling, or you are jungling. Like, you are, the only thing you are not doing is staticking the lane in front of your tower. That is the only thing you're not doing. So it's now our job to be more efficient than sitting on top of the creep wave. Like, that is not sufficient past 5 minutes. Because for the first 5 minutes, you don't really have enough items, sustain, and like levels and stuff to jungle. But now we do, and it's also heavily beneficial that we kill these small camps as soon as possible because of the neutral items. And it also not only gives us neutral items, but it also provides our team with neutral items. These are like small things that make a big difference in the grand scheme of the game. So when I'm watching you play here, I would want you to analyze your own game from 5 minutes onwards of how often you're sitting in lane, not hitting a creep and not farming. So this right here, you're not. I would want you hitting this creep, like hitting something. And if you don't feel like you can hit it, you leave. Do you know what I mean? So the way you maximize your farm, so like I'm just going to give you this note. 0 to 5 minutes. What matters to me is, why are you moving? If you are moving, you are not controlling lane by hitting creeps. So that's your focus for the first 5 minutes, okay? From like 5 minutes onwards, this is like, I'd say 5 minutes to 10. It's not that it doesn't apply after this, but it especially applies here.
Sure.
You are either hitting creeps in lane or hitting creeps in jungle. Assess your efficiency by how often, how many seconds, actually, how many seconds you are not hitting creeps or walking somewhere to hit creeps. So I would love, like, for you, it's a good thought exercise as you move after this session, meaning like for every game you now play moving forward, to look at this and think, you know, right here, how long did I, like in this exact moment, how long did I go? Right now, it's 5:56 was the last time I attacked. 5:56. 10 seconds. You know, that's a lot of time. And like if we add this up over the course of, like, you know, we can just find another one. So you're attacking right now. You know, We rewind. Okay, now you're here. Like, that's like another... So what I would want you to do here, if you don't feel safe walking up, would be to defensive aggro into your tower and then hit the creeps. That's like...
Sure.
That allows you to not only... The reason why you're hitting creeps is to kill them faster, right? The tower
Yeah.
is a tool to kill them faster.
Okay.
So, in this case, the whole game is I want to be right-clicking creeps as often as humanly possible. Now, dragging them into tower means that I'm safer doing it, and the tower is also doubling down on me right-clicking them. So that's like everything I'm communicating to you is using defensive aggro, using the tower, various mechanics. You can use spells depending on your hero and matchup. Like, you might use spin to just push the wave. I wouldn't use it here because they could go on you afterwards. But the whole idea is everything I'm teaching you between 5 to 10 minutes is just tools to hit creeps. So
Sure.
you then see all of these times where, like, look at this, right? You're just this creep wave showed up at 30 seconds, right? This is when it showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Your first time attacking an enemy creep right now, 12 seconds. Let's make that 0. Right? Continuously. Maybe 1 second. Right? And if you eliminate these random 10 seconds, I want you to think 10 seconds is you walking over here and spinning this and coming back.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's just 60, 70 gold, neutral item missed, stuff like this. Also, this type of stuff is going to happen way more when you're laning consistently. Your support's going to try to help you. They're going to go in and die. You're going to find yourself fighting a lot more. Every second you spend here not attacking increases the likelihood that you are going to fight. And as a carry, we don't win by fighting. We win by farming for as much as possible of the first 20 minutes. That's how we win games, right? You know, we weave fights in there. It's not like we're just completely AFK, but we're trying to minimize the amount of fights we're taking. So yeah, same thing here. Would have wanted you to... I mean, it's the whole story. Like, I'm not going to, like, you know, cheer your ear off for this. We'll just keep going.
Sure.
I'm sure you see it now. So...
Yeah. My only question, and you know, it might require maybe some context that
Sure.
I'm, you know, maybe supposed to have that I don't have. The reason why I guess I try to avoid auto attacking the lane, or attacking the lane too much, is trying to like keep it closer to the tower, you know, and not like ruin the equilibrium. And so, at what point should I kind of feel that it's okay to, you know, kind of more push the lane out by attacking because obviously the quicker you kill the, you know, the waves, like the more you're gonna kind of push the wave forward.
Why
you know,
do you value holding lane equilibrium? What do you see as the value of that?
Just being able to CS more safely.
Okay. So then my answer to you is that generally lane equilibrium is used to CS more safely so that you can CS more.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So the balance is when it's actually making you CS less. That can be at 40 seconds into the game, that by maintaining lane equilibrium, you're actually CSing less because the enemy doesn't let you. I had a coaching session on that maybe a week or two ago. So your number one priority is getting more CS. So the answer is you don't prioritize lane equilibrium when it's giving you less CS. At 5 minutes in, especially on Jug, it is giving you less CS to just prioritize it there. Like, I can give you that, like, black and white answer of it will give you less. But what I tell people a lot of times, it makes sense that that's, like, a guiding priority for you, is that there's, like, 5 or 6 things that could dictate your priority in lane, and you're always prioritizing that one, is what it sounds like. So I guess I would encourage you... Yes, lane equilibrium is nice, but past 5 minutes, your priority needs to be I'm hitting creeps as much as 24/7 as possible, like as close to 100% of the time. And that is more valuable. Now, that's going to cause unstable situations, The lane's pushing out. You might have to farm hard camp and you're not sure if you can. You're going to go farm small camp and it's blocked. Or like, it's going to create more dynamic nature to the game, but it's going to give you way higher ceiling of GPM. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you're playing like a very stable way. And for almost everybody, if not everybody that I coach, I'm going to tell you something that's going to add variables and it's going to make your decisions more complicated, but it's because that's how you get better, right? So you're going to be thrown in a bunch of scenarios, but as long as you prioritize after 5 minutes, how often am I hitting creeps over lane equilibrium, you're going to be thrown into a bunch of new scenarios now, and that's fine. And so definitely at 5 minutes in, but no, it could be earlier. Just for the record. Okay, so what happened here? You Omni/Slash Master. Is this lack of familiarity with Marcy, or what happened here?
So this is a fundamental misunderstanding of Marcy.
Okay.
I thought that her shit worked like kind of like Monkey King's, where she gets like a certain amount of attacks with the crazy like lifesteal bonus. But I did not realize it's just a constant with her ult. So that was just me misunderstanding how her ult worked.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would like to illuminate the fact that you have not hit a single jungle camp in 10.5 minutes.
Okay.
Generally, I will clear 1 to 2 creep camps per minute following 5 minutes.
Okay.
So that's just a good thing to strive for. You know, sometimes, you know, if I'm purely jungling, it's more. But if I am laning, it's still 1 to 2 jungle camps per minute. What is your idea of returning to lane here? What is your goal? What's going through your mind?
I guess just hitting more creeps. I guess I was gonna come to lane. I think was I walking back? I feel like I was getting something delivered by the courier, so I walked back to grab it, but I might be wrong.
No, nothing on the courier.
Okay.
You know, I'm just seeing this decision making, and I'm wondering what's your goal here? Why are you here in the first place?
Yeah, I guess just to kind of keep on the lane creeps.
Okay. This is like 8 to 15 minutes onwards.
Okay.
There is absolutely no guarantee that you should lane anymore. Being conscious of where in lane you feel comfortable laning. What heroes do you need to see in order to feel comfortable returning to lane? And generally beginning to weigh this risk to reward ratio towards jungling. The only reason you should feel like you have to lane is if you can defend your tower and they are taking it.
Okay.
If you don't go. So what that means is that returning to lane right here is different than returning to lane right here, which is different than here, and the last resort is here. So it's basically consciously assessing how far up are you allowed to be when you return to lane. And if you don't really think you can lane, then you're probably only going to come back to here. And then if you still die back here, the answer is that you weren't supposed to lane. So if you die here, that means you were supposed to not come back until it's here. If you die here, then you weren't supposed to come back till it's here. Then it's here. Do you see what I mean by that?
Yeah.
So in this case, you know, combining, you know, all the things I just said about where to return to lane, also understanding, is my tower under threat? And does the offlaner make me want to leave my lane most offlaners are incredibly strong at level 6. Most of them. Unless your hero like counters their level 6, like Jug counters Mars, for instance, because he arenas and you spin out. You do not counter Marcy's level 6. She's just single target physical damage. None of your toolkit does anything about that. Beastmaster, Slardar, Marcy, single target physical damage. Legion, maybe Doom, kind of. I'm just listing offlaners that Axe potentially that like they counter Jug's kit. Because his spin doesn't really do much to these heroes. So with that in mind, if we're talking about Jug specifically and we're talking about Ursa within Rage and stuff like this, is like what heroes are good against you and what heroes mean that they have the advantage in lane and you're more likely to return back here. Ignoring the fact that there's a Skywrath Mage and Bounty Hunter ganking you, I'm virtually never walking up to a Marcy that's level 6. Like, I'm just not going to do that. That's just a general rule of thumb with Marcy. And I understand that you said earlier that you're a little bit limited on understanding of Marcy specifically.
Yeah, I don't see her a lot. She doesn't get picked a lot.
I gotcha. So that's just something to make clear that what you're doing here, it's not as much about this specific matchup against Marcy. It's more like heroes with single target physical damage will be very strong against Jug. But the biggest thing about this is you consciously returning to lane is a decision. And that is like, I'm returning to lane because this. So when I asked you the question, why are you returning to lane? Simply put, it's not a sufficient answer in the long run in terms of improving is to get CS. Like, it needs to be hero matchup based. But that is by repeatedly asking yourself the questions of this matchup, what heroes are missing, where in the lane do I want to return to? And that's just something that builds over time. Like, as long as you're asking those questions, you'll eventually have a better understanding of this dynamic. Are we all good on that, or do you have any questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, I understand that. I think I'm just kind of locked into just bad brain, where I'm like, hey, I need to go hit creeps in the lane until I have Battle Fury, and then I'm allowed to jungle after that, right?
Yeah. Most people I work with that are, I'd say there's no hard cutoffs, but I'd say like 3K and below, they have these very binary ways of viewing portions of the game.
Sure.
So a lot of times what I try to do for you guys is to break that. And it's initially uncomfortable because having it be binary is much simpler and easier to follow. But it's ironically also what's making you not gain rank.
Sure.
So yeah, that's the goal. You're gonna have you're almost certainly gonna have these binary views that my questions are challenging. Like, they're not going to allow you to think that way anymore. And that will be uncomfortable. And so I guess just embrace the discomfort, because that's what will happen when you're questioning these things in your games. And since you've also been a player for quite some time, you like you said, you're kind of locked in. Like, these are habits. These are very ingrained. So there'll be a lot of unlearning while learning. I think an arbitrary goal you can have would be to have a neutral item by like 8 minutes every game.
Okay.
That's like a solid, at least on Jug. That'll vary a bit on carry hero, but honestly, I think it's worth at least 300 MMR if you attack the way forward at 5 minutes and then spend this or this.
Okay.
Or like pull this camp right after at like 5:15. Like, at 5 minutes you attack the wave and then you pull it at 5:15. I think that alone is worth like 300 to 500 MMR because it's going to make you leave the lane. So just giving you like a very, this is, in my opinion, the simplest first step for you to apply what I'm telling you. I hope that helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Making it a bit more, less theoretical, more practical. Now we're being a little bit more dynamic on the map. Yeah, same thing here. You're officially banned past 5 minutes from walking up to a creep wave and doing this.
Okay.
You are banned from doing this. A good rule of thumb is to attack high health creeps and CS low health creeps.
Okay.
So during this time, you may already understand what I'm saying, but during this time, you would identify the creep that's dying, and you would hit a different creep. So you would attack this one. So you'd attack that one the whole time, and then while this one's about to die, you turn and hit it. That's like the simplest way to apply this very quickly. So then, like in this case, this one's dying, you'd attack this one. And so in this time, this one's already dead right now. And then this one's dying, and then you'd finish this one, and then, like, so you'd finish this wave about 4 seconds sooner.
Okay.
Maybe 5. Looks like you're scared, I guess rightfully so, that missing on Bounty Sky. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think this game's really awkward now, because you guys are down by 11k at 19 minutes.
Yeah. Spoilers, we lose.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be too good a use of your time here. You know, we've got about 10 minutes left. Would you like to look at like a brief portion of a win or something on a different hero, or what would you like to do? I don't think this game will be a good use of the 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I can pull one up here. Let me see. Let me load my Dota here. I mean, I can just throw that other Ursa loss where we lost even worse.
Sure.
Nice little 24-minute banger.
Generally speaking, I think the lower MMR you guys are, the higher percentage of your focus should be on the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So I think that's fine, generally speaking.
Okay. Is that one? This is a different game even than the one I was thinking.
Yeah, this is a 32-minute banger.
Okay.
What are your thoughts with the starting items?
So I've been getting an early bracer on Ursa just because when I play him, unlike Jug, where you have the spin as kind of a get out of jail free card, I feel like Ursa, I like a little bit of extra, I guess, tankiness, so that if I'm getting got, I can kind of have just a little more survivability, I guess.
Gotcha.
And then just quelling and tangos, I guess, for reasons that probably don't need explaining, I guess.
How often would you say you defensively aggro creeps?
Not often enough. I've been trying to do it more, but definitely not often enough.
Yeah, so an example, just to show you palpably what it's supposed to do for you, is that when Mirana's hitting you from here, you would drag the creeps this way, so that they're not in tower, but you move further from the Mirana. So the reason aggro is useful is because you are minimizing damage taken. And so
Sure.
you are taking more damage based on your positioning and relevance to the creeps. So you're here, correctly so, because these two creeps are right here. And because these two creeps are right here, Mirana clicks you from there. So defensive aggro means that we understand that we are here because of creeps, so we must move the creeps away from whatever's hitting us. So, and when I watch you play the last game, I saw the same thing, but the Vino wasn't hitting you, like correct, like he wasn't doing anything. So
Sure.
it wasn't easy for me to point out what's happening to you, right? So just generally speaking, I'm just gonna put defensive aggro use. Move creeps away from damage source.
If hitting creeps is unsafe, move them to somewhere safe.
Yeah, and you know, in that case, I think the word safe is subjective. If I'm getting hit, I wouldn't call that like unsafe. I'm just taking damage.
Wasteful, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess for me, I almost immediately assumed this was going to happen based on what I saw in your last game and the fact that you tell me you buy Bracer on Ursa. Because your problem on Ursa needs to be to move creeps more, not to buy a Bracer.
Okay.
So you're definitely going to struggle with sustain. It's not that Bracer's like never correct, but the reason you're having this issue that you have now addressed it by a Bracer, like I think that's a nice shake up, meaning like you recognized I'm having sustain issues and durability issues on Ursa, so I bought a Bracer. And now I'm just simply pointing out to you that this is not a common item build on Ursa, and the reason you have to buy it is because of this. So you might still end up buying Bracer. I'm not telling you not to buy Bracer, but you may actually solve this problem with defensive aggro. And this is an example where you defensive aggroing, sometimes you might have to pull it into tower range. But if your option is to either pull it into tower range and take 0 damage, or to get hit by Mirana 7 times, it's like, okay, would you rather have the lane in front of your tower getting hit 7 times, or would you rather have the lane right here? You know, this is an example where lane equilibrium is probably less important than getting CS, and pulling the creeps into tower is going to get you more CS. So that's why it's just worth considering that if you always have lane equilibrium at the top of your priority, then you're never going to do this move. And that's why I also said bonus points if you aggro it exactly this way, because that's outside of tower range and away from Mirana. But what if Mirana's over here? Then you have to pull it into tower, you know? So that's my whole idea, is that we are trying to minimize damage. And so you just took, I think you took probably 500 damage from Mirana right-clicking you. And that's a lot. A lot. Yeah. My main takeaway from this, like in the other lane, you know, we had the random moving. In this one, it's no defensive aggroing. Like in each game, you're gonna have a random thing that's causing you more issues. Yeah. Now you just get no CS because you can't walk up. So this is an example. This is perfect for everybody watching, and to answer your question, this is an example where in the first 2 minutes, if you try to prioritize lane equilibrium, you're just gonna fuck yourself, because you've just been at such low HP for so long that you like, okay, great. The lane has been in front of your tower for 3 minutes straight. In theory, fantastic. I have 5 CS. Right? So if we had defensive aggroed and then defensive aggro the next wave and defensive aggro the next wave, we would probably have like 12 CS. And the lane would have sometimes been here, sometimes here. You know, like the lane would be more dynamic, but we'd have 2.5 times as much CS, at least, maybe more.
Basically, kept lane equilibrium, but what good has that done?
At what cost? Yeah. And that's why I asked you earlier, why do you value lane equilibrium? Because part of it, I'm glad we had this example, because this is a textbook example of prioritizing lane equilibrium for what, right? Because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of my old videos were trying to teach people to prioritize lane equilibrium. And so, I'm not trying to say like I single-handedly did this or whatever, but I feel like I'm now, because I know I don't think your group watched my content. I'm not actually sure.
I used to watch your
Okay,
content actually a while back,
that makes
maybe
sense.
5, 6 years ago.
That makes sense then. Because I do feel like I've had a decent portion of carry players who've come from my content coming to me basically prioritizing lane equilibrium. You're probably the third or fourth. And it's been me saying lane equilibrium's great, but at what cost?
Right.
So this will be good. I think this is a great example because I've been looking to give people some examples, and I think for you it'll give solidification. Or I don't know what the word is. It'll solidify,
Yeah.
how it's costing you. In this case, same thing. Just attack creeps or leave. Attack creeps or leave. Yeah, I mean, you don't even have treads yet, so it's really rough for you to even jungle. So, like, at this
Yeah.
portion, your goal would be... I think your goal every game would be to have treads at, like, 5 to 6 minutes, and then
Mm-hmm.
initiate this push lane jungle thing.
Okay.
Do you not have a small camp, or what happened here? Yeah, your Veno never gave you a small camp. Interesting. Or maybe he farmed it with those wards? Yeah, there's just an awful lot amount of time that you're spending between 5 to 10 minutes laning treacherously. So I think if we get... Yeah, this is just stuff you're going to have to work on one at a time. Like, my goal takeaway for you today is I have these notes for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage you to work on one thing at a time. I would probably prioritize defensive aggro
Sure.
higher than the why are you moving thing. I think if you completely abandon the importance of lane equilibrium and try to put it at like fourth priority, number
Uh-huh.
one priority is CSing.
Right.
And in that 5 minutes, the most important priority is pushing the lane and jungling, or jungling and defending underneath the tower. Those are usually like the two efficient ways to play the game past 5 minutes. So
Sure.
if you feel like you're stronger, you push out the lane and then you go jungle. If you feel like whatever the lane position is or whatever the matchup is, you feel like you're weaker, then you usually jungle and then defend the tower.
Okay.
So for that one, it's just after 5 minutes, push lane and jungle, or jungle and defend tower. Answer is based on who you think is stronger. I think if you were to operate under those core principles for just, gave yourself a decent game chunk, I think that would fix a lot of your problems innately over time. So I think I've given you, in my case, like in my opinion, I feel like I've given you not too much, but just enough information to gather in
Yeah.
your future games without changing too much about what you're doing. Do you have any questions before I
No,
send
no.
you
I
off?
think it's a good amount to chew on.
Sweet, man. Awesome. Any final thoughts?
Uh, only thing is, I'm just realizing you're not Purge. The, what the hell is this?
Thanks, BSJ. Thanks, Purge.
No, appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate the comic relief at the end. Have a good one, dude.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yep. Wait a minute.